The history of the Native Americans is a long and complex one, spanning thousands of years. The story begins with the arrival of the first Native Americans on the continent, which is believed to have occurred around 15,000 years ago. At this time, the Bering Land Bridge connected Asia and North America, and it is believed that the first Native Americans crossed this bridge in search of new hunting grounds. These early people were hunters and gatherers, and they lived off the land, hunting animals such as mammoths, bison, and deer. Over time, these early Native Americans began to spread out across the continent, adapting to the different environments they encountered. Some groups settled in the forests of the east, while others made their homes on the plains of the west. As the Native American population grew, so did their cultures and traditions. They developed unique languages, religions, and social structures, and they formed alliances and traded with one another. However, the arrival of European explorers in the late 15th century would change the course of Native American history forever. In 1492, Christopher Columbus arrived in the Americas, marking the beginning of European contact with the Native Americans. Over the next few centuries, European explorers and colonizers would arrive in increasing numbers, bringing with them new diseases, technologies, and ideas. The impact of European contact on the Native Americans was profound. Many Native American populations were decimated by diseases such as smallpox, which they had no immunity to. European colonizers also brought with them guns, horses, and other technologies that gave them a military advantage over the Native Americans. As European colonies grew in size and power, they began to encroach on Native American lands and resources. Native American populations were pushed further and further west, and many were forced to give up their traditional ways of life and assimilate into European culture. Throughout this period, there were many conflicts between Native Americans and European colonizers. Some Native American groups allied with the Europeans, while others fought against them. The most famous of these conflicts was the American Indian Wars, which lasted from the late 19th century until the early 20th century. Despite the challenges they faced, Native American cultures and traditions persisted. Many Native American groups continue to practice their traditional ways of life and maintain their unique languages and cultures to this day. In the early 19th century, the United States government began a policy of westward expansion, which would have devastating consequences for Native American populations. The Indian Removal Act of 1830 authorized the forced removal of Native American tribes from their ancestral lands in the southeastern United States. The most infamous example of this policy was the Trail of Tears, which saw the forced relocation of thousands of Cherokee people from their homes in Georgia to Indian Territory in present-day Oklahoma. Many Cherokee people died on the journey due to disease, starvation, and exposure. The Trail of Tears was just one example of the many forced relocations and land seizures that Native American populations experienced during this period. As the United States expanded westward, Native American populations were pushed further and further from their ancestral lands. Despite these challenges, many Native American groups continued to resist and fight for their rights. In 1868, the United States government signed the Treaty of Fort Laramie, which recognized the sovereignty of Native American tribes and established reservations for them to live on. However, the reservation system was often poorly managed and underfunded, leading to poverty, disease, and other challenges for Native American populations. Today, many Native American communities continue to struggle with the legacy of forced relocation and cultural suppression. In the 20th century, Native American populations began to organize and fight for their rights in earnest. One of the most prominent groups was the American Indian Movement (AIM), which was founded in 1968. AIM was a grassroots organization that sought to address the many injustices faced by Native American populations, including poverty, discrimination, and the loss of land and resources. The group organized protests, marches, and other actions to draw attention to these issues. One of the most famous actions taken by AIM was the occupation of Alcatraz Island in 1969. A group of Native American activists occupied the island for over a year, demanding that it be turned into a Native American cultural center and university. AIM also played a key role in the fight for Native American civil rights. In 1972, the group organized the Trail of Broken Treaties, a cross-country caravan that called attention to the many broken treaties between the United States government and Native American tribes. The activism of AIM and other Native American groups helped to bring attention to the many injustices faced by Native American populations. Today, many Native American communities continue to fight for their rights and work to preserve their cultures and traditions. Today, Native American populations continue to face many challenges. Poverty, unemployment, and lack of access to healthcare and education are all major issues in many Native American communities. Environmental issues are also a major concern for many Native American groups. Many Native American communities live in areas that are threatened by climate change, pollution, and other environmental hazards. The issue of cultural preservation is also a major concern for many Native American communities. The loss of traditional languages, stories, and practices is a significant challenge, and many Native American groups are working to preserve and revitalize their cultures. Despite these challenges, there are many positive developments in Native American communities. Native American artists, writers, and activists are gaining recognition for their contributions to American culture, and many Native American communities are working to build sustainable economies and preserve their natural resources. In recent years, there have also been some positive developments in Native American political representation. In 2020, 2 Native American women were elected to Congress, marking a historic moment for Native American representation in the United States government. The history of the Native Americans is a complex and ongoing story, full of challenges and triumphs. As we move forward, it is important to recognize and honor the contributions and resilience of Native American communities and to work towards a more just and equitable future for all.